welcome to the Empowered Artist Podcast. This is Tamara Hergert, and thank you so much for listening. I am so excited you're here, and I can't wait to share everything with you. If you'd like to get a free digital copy of my book, Artist Success Mindset, please leave a review for our podcast and email a screenshot to us at info@empoweredartist.co. This information is also saved in the episode's details. Thank you. We are meeting today with JoAnne Coughlin Walsh, and she is a wonderful artist. She creates editorial art and also surfer life and beach themed art. And there's lots of movement and ocean theme in her latest work. And I am just so thankful to you, JoAnne, for joining us today. This is an interview that will be posted in the Empowered Artist community and also as an episode in our podcast. And I'm super duper excited to have you because I've been following you for years, and I'm just amazed at how effortless your editorial art looks.
Thank you.
It just looks so fun. Like one of your latest ones, Santa in a martini glass, I think it was.
That was a fun one.
That was brilliant. So do you do it? It looks digital. It looks both hand painted and digital to me. So I can never figure out which one it is.
Well, it's a little of both. So some of them I draw, and then with whatever I got laying around, and then I'll scan it in and digitally color it if I'm on a tight deadline. And other stuff I'll just scan in some paintings and use it as a backdrop and play with some textures. Or if I'm really pressed for time, I'll just digitally do the whole thing.
What do you use for digital art? Like, do you use a tablet? Do you use a computer?
I have a iPad Pro I love that I use and Procreate.
Yeah. Great. Me too.
Yeah, it's
like
awesome.
the best. Yeah.
But I still love doing old school. I have, you could see my big mess of a studio in here. I still have all my art painting. Where's my, I love this little $100 card I got with all my paint over here. Can you see it?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a disaster in here. I just finished a big painting for somebody, so.
That's great.
I still like getting my hands dirty,
So you do editorial art, and throughout the years, I've seen so many different names of different publications. So you do recurring work for several of them. Or do you reach out to the new ones? Like, what's your process for getting that type of work?
So right now I'm working full-time as an art director for 25 newspapers. So we own, we go from Portland, Oregon at the Oregonian, Cleveland, Plain Dealer, Star Ledger in New Jersey. So we're all across the country. We do some magazines too. I just finished the second magazine in Syracuse, New York called Good Times, I think.
Wow.
Good Life.
That is impressive. You must be very busy.
I'm a little busy.
So lucky knowing this. Oh my God. So how do you process the idea? So, when you have an editorial piece, you kind of need to be mindful of the context, like, the page context where it's going to be placed, and also, what it needs to convey, the idea. And also it needs to be like very simple and visually engaging. So how do you bring it all together? What's your process?
So I'll read the story. So it's all based on a story. So I try to read the story and come down to 3 words or 1 word that I'm trying to get the point across. So let's just because you brought it up, that Santa one, right? So it was holiday cocktails. And anybody could do a cocktail class. You want to try to do something fun and more engaging, and and it's the holidays, and everybody kind of goes overboard on the holidays with the cocktails and like one too many. That's kind of come up with the idea, and
Yes.
yeah, and then I just drove it home with the Santa because that's just. But
Yeah.
I think sometimes you want to really try to be unique too, so you try not to do too many things that are you see around. You try to do something that's usual.
Yeah. Well, your stuff is great.
Thank you very much.
I love it. I also love your big paintings, and I was so excited for you when you did several art shows this last past summer. I'm like, oh, she's doing the seasonal pop-up tent and everything, and it's I don't have the patience to do all that, because there's a lot of work that goes into putting it all together, and also going in, representing your art, and also communicating with the clients, and also finding I think the main thing here is, like, in this type of business line, is finding the right place where you're going to set up.
Right. Yes, finding your audience for sure.
Yes, because if you're set up in the wrong place, that's not going to work.
Right. That's for sure. Yeah.
So what is your strategy for finding your audience and bringing your art to your audience in terms of doing the live art, art setup, art show, art fair? So what's your strategy?
Well, I think it's a lot of trial and error, I started out with beach towns. I live at the beach. So the first show I did was on a beach, Long Beach Island. I know you're on the West Coast, right? In Washington. Yes. So I wouldn't bring my stuff, say, to a lake community yet, because it's really ocean and, coastal. So I just tried a beach town, got lucky, and then tried a couple more. And then I just kind of, somebody, and a lot. So I have a few galleries, and the idea of the show was I don't want to really do shows either, because I work full time. So it's a lot of work. But I wanted to drive some customers to the gallery. So I figured I would do a few shows. And those were pretty successful. And you kind of break out of, I'm not really an outgoing, if I don't know you kind of person. I could be a little introverted. I'm not a good salesman. I can't really do it. And you got to do it by yourself. I'd just be sitting there reading a book, and people are like, "Are you the artist?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, hi." Right. So I was just looking for positive feedback the first year, and but I did make a lot of sales, which was great. And then I did it again. I bought a bigger tent. I borrowed the first year, and looked very haphazard, but what are you going to do? And then the second year, I went to Montauk and did like a big 3-day show. And, you just got to try and see how you do. You never know what's going to stick. And you don't know, like, I did a show, I didn't sell anything, but then I sold 3 things online, and then somebody went to a gallery and grabbed one of my pieces. And then from there, that person put me into one of their shows.
Wow. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. So you never know where it leads,
Yes. I think you're absolutely right. Because it's like a little trickle.
Right.
You just need to start. And if it doesn't work, you analyze it and think about it. Okay, maybe I can pivot, and how can I benefit from this experience? That's my personal strategy.
Yes.
Even if it doesn't bring you any money, you can still squeeze it out to the maximum. You can use that experience as great promotion.
Right. Exactly. Like the first year I gave out 500 cards. Wow, like I ran out. Yeah. And I was like, too bad 500 people didn't buy anything, but at least 500 people were interested enough, and you hope someday they'll buy something or whatever, you know.
Yes. Yeah. And you're slowly branding yourself into their memory, into their subconscious. They probably have put it somewhere, and eventually they will, follow you, and they will uh, run across you sometime, walking down the street, and they'll be like, oh, I really like that artist one time, and I'm looking for a gift from my mom, and she likes the beach, and she likes the ocean, and I think that would be a very neat gift, you
Right,
know.
right.
So, and it just planting the seed in someone's heart is very important. And even though it's just we all want to hide away with our brushes and pencils
Right.
and just do just that, and hope that we will be discovered.
I know, it's true, right? Artists are not built to be extroverted and salesmen. We're just not. It's not in our. I don't think it's in our DNA.
Yeah, and I I personally think that there's a lot of creative juice in marketing and promotion itself. If you learn to love it, there is, there's a kick to it. There is some kind of pleasure in creating this little perfectly looking post that you're gonna post, and somebody will see somewhere.
Right, right.
Yeah. So there's but there's also a drag to it. There's
It's
like,
well, it
oh,
takes time. I know, especially with all the social media. You know, everybody, you Instagram, you Twitter, you Facebook. It's like it's a lot.
yeah, yeah. And I totally totally agree with you on that, because it can get overwhelming, and at the same time frustrating, because if you don't know what your next post should be, or like what, people think, okay, I should have a strategy. What is my strategy?
Right.
So the best strategy for Instagram is just move one foot in front of the other.
It's true. You have to try. Like I try to post. I was trying to post once a week and once a day. Then my Instagram account got hacked. So then I couldn't post for like 2 months, and then I got out of the habit. And then the holidays came, and I was like, I got to start posting again because it looks like
Yes.
I haven't done anything because I was just like, you know.
Yeah.
But
And
you need to.
I also deeply believe that social media is not your priority.
No,
You
well,
know,
for me, no.
it's not anybody's priority, really. It shouldn't be anybody's priority, because there's real life that is a priority. There's your family, your kids, your
Exactly.
work, the actual work that brings you money and generates you money. And so unless you're an influencer and you're making money by posting stuff, social media is more like a side thing that you do on a slow burner whenever you get a chance. And if it starts driving you crazy, like, if you're checking your likes or your followers too much, you should disconnect and step away from it for a while, just to kind of get back into the normal time frame, because normal mind frame and mindset. Guys, due to some technical issues, the remaining part of our conversation did not record, unfortunately. So here is a recap of what we have talked about. So JoAnne shared with me about her experience with galleries and how she got her foot in the door and her first gallery representation. Well, here it is. One day, several years ago, she got super brave and took her iPad to her first gallery, then showed them her works, and they took one of her paintings and it sold shortly thereafter. She is now represented by 4 galleries, working on the 5th one. So I'm super excited for her, and I just want to tell you that if you're thinking of reaching out to a gallery that you like, I am recommending, instead of sending them an email, follow JoAnne's example and go talk to them in person. And also, as a side note, most galleries say no walk-ins on their websites when it comes to representation inquiries or applications. Yet, I repeatedly hear from artists that they walked in with their iPad, showed their work, made a personal connection, and got some sort of deal out of it. It does not happen every time, but it is certainly worth a try, and it is way more effective than reaching out by email. Well, JoAnne and I also talked about our legacies and what legacy means to each one of us, and that was a very meaningful conversation as well. I just wanted to thank you so much for listening. Subscribe if you enjoy our podcast. Check out our website and connect with us on social. We're here to help you bring your vision of success to life. So thanks again, and bye for now.